Are you a business owner looking for real advice and input? You're in the right place. From concept to launch to growth, funding, and beyond. Welcome to Startup Hustle with your hosts. One once sold a business for $150 million. The other, the author of $1 Million Bedroom. Here are your hosts of Startup Hustle, Matt DeCoursey and Matt Watson.
And we're back. Another episode of Startup Hustle. Matt DeCoursey here with Andrew Dowis, who will be sitting in for Matt Watson today. Hi, Andrew.
Hey, how's it going?
Just trying to hit a home run in life, baby.
I love that baseball reference. Love it.
Yeah, well, I think we should probably just dive right in as to why I'm making a baseball reference. So, Andrew, you are the CEO of ProAthlete.
Yeah.
Is this true?
Yes, this is true.
So, and then some people are like, what's ProAthlete? Well, ProAthlete, you guys do a lot of stuff. You're JustBats.com.
Yep. That's our most popular brand. So yeah.
To say most popular is, I mean, this is like a multi-million-dollar e-commerce operation.
Yeah. We've been, in business for over 30 years, and I've been online, 20 of those years, and just been selling baseball bats and gloves.
That makes you guys literally, e-commerce dinosaurs.
Yeah, for sure.
And also gurus and wizards. And like, to preface a couple things, like, not only are you guys great at the stuff that goes on online, you're great at the workplace culture that occurs offline.
Yeah, absolutely. We're known, at least around Kansas City, for all the workplace perks and stuff that we offer our employees. We've got a number of different things. So. Yeah,
that's an understatement. So I've been there. It's like, I don't know, man. It's like a workplace amusement park in some ways. Like, and we can get into some of that. I'll post some pictures on the gram at Startup Hustle Podcast, because myself and our COO went out there. You guys have a lot of cool stuff, and that's important. We're going to talk about that a little bit, but we're going to really talk about e-commerce to start with, because, like you said, 30 years ago, this thing called the internet, that was 99, right?
Yeah. So yeah,
this thing called the internet. Like, I had seen the internet like maybe 5 or 6 years before that.
Yeah. That's the foresight of our current owner, Scott Hedrick. His parents started the business as a brick and mortar store in 1987, and then kind of 97, 99, he had that vision of taking the sporting goods store into the the houses of kids and parents all over the country instead of just in Kansas City. And that was a pretty dang good decision, I would say.
So we'll look back at this. So in 99, I was 14.
Yep.
Rocking, getting ready for like a freshman in high school, dude.
Yep.
Just getting ready. Just the world was in front of me. But actually 90, yeah, is that right? 99? No, I wasn't. I was 25.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't. I'm doing the math here. I was 24. God, that was bad math. I was not a freshman in high school. God, I wish I was, though.
Yeah.
But anyway, here you are, and you're entering the world of e-commerce. And it literally in 99, people are still like, this internet thing, I'm not sure about it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like for real. Like, I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, try telling, people in high school now, that story. Like, not everybody even knew what the internet was.
Right.
And so it was a big hurdle, but ended up being a good decision. And, things that we see in today's, climate, Amazon's provided shipping, free shipping in 2 days and stuff like that. Back then, just free shipping in general was kind of unheard of. And that was one thing that...
much less like 2-day turnaround.
Yeah,
I mean, that's when you would still in the trailing vapors of like 3 to 4 weeks.
Right.
I mean, crazy.
Right.
Because you had to wait for the check to clear.
Right. And no phone numbers listed on the websites. Yeah. I mean, you usually weren't even in stock with most of the things that you probably had listed on your site. And, first order that our company ever did online, we oversold it. And that was the day that customer service became like a core value and a commitment. So we ended up losing money on the first order just to get it shipped out to the customer in Hawaii.
It's funny. That same thing happened. My first e-commerce, real e-commerce experience in that regard. I talk about that in $1 Million Bedroom. And, we had a ticket company, and we had sold something online. Now we had to fulfill the order. And, we went through this whole dog and pony show, and I did the math, and I was like, man, I think I just lost money.
Yeah.
Or like, I mean, at least I could make a really strong case for the fact that the amount of time and effort we put into it, I was like, oh, wow.
Sure.
This might be a little harder than we think it is.
Right.
So e-commerce is a battlefield, and it's a game and a war and a climate and a scene that has changed significantly since '99.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, there's a lot of different players. There's a lot of different things. I mean, back in '99, like that's like when eBay was like coming out. Like and that was a big thing for a lot of people. And the idea that you would just buy whatever you want online was kind of digging its cleats in, to go with what you guys are saying. But I think one of the things that people think is like, okay, so I'm going to start an online store, I'm going to do e-commerce, and I'll just build it and they'll come.
Right.
Is that true?
No, not quite like the Field of Dreams reference. No, but
I'm loaded up with baseball stuff today. I'm ready.
You've been to our office. I feel like that's the only way we talk up there.
Yeah,
so
I'd fit in well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So no, there's so many things that go into it. Getting people to your site, through SEO and paid advertising, now social media advertising and things like that are all big. And just when you think you've got one part of it figured out, now it changes.
Yeah.
And if you have good infrastructure in place, like I think we do, you're able to roll with those changes a little bit quicker than some people. But they haven't come without a lot of challenges and stuff over the years.
So you guys sell tens of millions of dollars worth of stuff.
Yeah, we sell a lot of baseball bats and gloves, and we always get asked, why not more? Why don't you sell cleats and jerseys and stuff like that? And
there's a reason for that, though.
Super valid question. Yeah. And looking at the landscape now, I think it served us well staying focused, because now we're kind of thought of as that product expert. If you have a question about a bat or a glove, you come to us. We hope you buy from us after you get the information, but you definitely come to us if you're not quite sure. And we're not talking about a $10 purchase. There's $500 bats.
Oh, sure.
And $500 gloves, and you want to research it a little bit before you make that investment.
Well, the thing is you talk about, okay, why don't you sell cleats? And if you're going to sell cleats, why don't you sell pants? Why don't you sell basketballs? And all of a sudden, like you're selling every sporting good known to man.
Right.
You can't stock that. Like, I mean, there's a lot. Like, I've been out to your place. Like, it's amazing just how many bats you have.
Yeah.
And gloves.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen that. I will probably never see that many bats ever anywhere.
Yep.
But there's something to be said about being laser sharp and being great at one thing, like, as opposed to joining the masses of people that are at best good at a lot of things.
Sure. And we've seen a lot of the competitors in the space that sell all of the baseball equipment and, all sporting goods, and they're struggling in the Amazon era a little bit more, because if you're going to do that, just get it from Amazon.
Right.
If you need information and you want to, work with kind of a enthusiast category kind of company, that would be where we kind of step in. And we have former baseball players and softball players, that are on the phones and doing live chat and things like that.
And let's talk about that for a second, because like I said, what we're really trying to do is get people to kind of understand. You can have a simple e-store and make a couple sales and like maybe deal with fulfilling those orders. So I'll give the only thing I can give reference to is the books that I sell.
Sure.
So we used to sell tickets and we'd deliver those, and that was kind of that was a whole process of fulfillment that I didn't deal with. But I look at something like my books, and I'd love to tell you that I sell like hundreds a day, but I don't. So you talk about Amazon. So Amazon is like my fulfillment center for that. It makes sense for me in that regard, because if I sell 4 books in a week, I got to stop what I'm doing. I got to package them up. I got to print a label. I got to do a whole lot of other stuff. So in some regards, that makes sense. But with that, you pay a pretty steep price.
Right.
And it's not necessarily something that most retail margins support.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, if you're starting an e-commerce business in today's climate,
good luck.
Yeah, it's tough.
You better have a niche, and that's back to that, like bats. Like if you're trying to say, hey, I'm going to sell sporting goods online, don't.
Right. There's a lot of
seriously don't.
Right. I mean, back when we started, there wasn't a Shopify app or a Magento or BigCommerce that you could just go throw all your products on. Now it's pretty easy. to do that.
And even take like a whole product catalog and upload it.
Right.
Like one of the first software things I built was a website that built itself basically on a spreadsheet.
That's awesome.
To do for ticket events,
Sure.
and because they're always changing and coming out, and you couldn't keep up with all the pages. And I look back at 10 years ago, like that was like really innovative, and now you would expect that
Right.
on anything and everything. It's something like sites like Shopify, they're good if you have a niche thing,
Right.
and they'll help you generate SEO friendly pages, and you don't have to build a whole lot of stuff, right?
Yep.
But you're out there with the masses.
Right. Yep.
So 99 comes along, and here's this internet thing, and you guys are doing all right. What are some of the changes and challenges that, so we've mentioned Amazon, and we don't have to like go down that road because Amazon's obviously like the big kid, or the whale. And with that, they can create a current.
Sure.
And they, over 50% of e-commerce. Good Lord.
Yeah.
So outside of the Amazon and the other stuff, what are some things that you can talk about for e-commerce people? And by the way, like we're sitting here going, be careful, don't do it. Like you got to do what you got to do,
Sure.
but you're way better off to try to be great at one thing, and like JustBats.
Right.
Right. Do you think if you guys were just trying to do all sporting goods, like it would be, you couldn't, maybe you could, but
yeah,
it'd be
I don't
a whole
know.
different thing.
Yeah, it'd be different. I've seen a lot of our competitors try that and it not work when Amazon kind of really, came into the space. So I do think it's benefited us, up to this point, and we'll kind of see what happens next. But
now you guys sell stuff through Amazon.
Yeah,
still.
we do. Yeah.
And that's become a pretty big part of what you do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of a tough decision, but there's so many eyeballs there. You got to be there, know, and so they're one of our best partners, and it's just one of those things where you got to kind of be able to navigate all the changes and stuff that are going on. And it's not just about the product you're selling, as you were kind of alluding to earlier. Do you want to fulfill it yourself? Or do you want to let somebody else fulfill it? Do you want to do your own SEO and paid advertising, or do you want to use an agency to do it? Do you want to answer your own phones and live chat, all the customer service pieces? All those different things. So you have to kind of really assess what part of that process you want to do yourself and what part of those you want to like outsource.
So to give some perspective to those listening, when I was out at your office, we stopped by the support, like the call-in.
Yeah.
And you guys literally have one of every product you sell there.
Yep.
And like think about that now. So like here's a room. There's like all these bats, all these gloves, and that was the first thing you pointed out. You said, so we have one of everything we sell here. So the guy or gal on the phone can literally walk across the room, hang on, let me get that and look.
Yep. Yeah, we get a lot of customers that say, hey, what's it feel like? Is it end-loaded or is it balanced? What's it like?
Is the handle fat?
Right.
Is it thin? You're like, I don't know. Like,
right.
But now think about that, because you're back to that niche specialty, and that's the value that they're going to get from you. Now, at the same time, what's tough about e-commerce is I bet some of those people call and then they go buy it somewhere else.
Absolutely.
And you're like, God.
Yeah.
And that's what I hated about tickets, and that's why we quit like doing anything retail facing. Because people would call us, and then if they found it for $1 cheaper on StubHub, they just go buy it there.
Right.
I'm like, well, I'm glad I was here to, and we would get the most ridiculous questions. They'd be like, how much closer is row B than row C? And you're like, I don't know, 6 feet?
Right.
4 feet? I mean, they're pretty similar.
Right.
And like, what do you say? I mean,
right.
But, people have these questions over and over, but in the end, internet customers are very unforgiving.
Yeah.
Some are loyal, and I know you guys see a lot of repeat business.
We do.
But so other than that support and that expertise, what are some other things that you've done along the way to continue to kind of build that repeat buyer?
Yeah, good question. I think we always have the products in stock. So we're going to have a lot of things that maybe some of our competitors aren't going to have, just because we have really great relationships with our suppliers.
Well, that's something that the Amazon era has changed too, is
right.
that people have this expectation of getting it. Well, it was 2 days. Is it now 1 day, and
right.
maybe even today?
Yeah. I mean, that was one of the biggest things. Like I think I mentioned, free shipping back in '99 was unheard of. Well, now if you offer like free 5-day shipping, it's slow, because Amazon can get it to you in 2 days. And so again, you're adapting with, all those changes, but you also, one of the biggest things I think e-commerce companies overlook is fulfillment.
Yep.
It's not cheap to ship.
No,
it's
not,
expensive.
and you have to pay the people to gather the packages and do that. And then on top of it, you got to keep track of your stuff.
Yep.
That's probably the hardest part.
Right.
It's not hard. It's not as hard to print a label and stick it on a box and throw a bat or something in it.
Right.
But now you got to keep track of it, and and then on top of it, you talk about having things in stock that requires capital.
It does.
It just starts to add up.
Yep. It does. Yeah. And I think with e-commerce, you're putting your product in partners' hands a lot of the time. So let's say you're outsourcing SEO. You're trusting a company that maybe doesn't know everything about what you want, and they're doing your SEO. And
sometimes can take actions that might not, in the end, be the best for your position.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of things, and I've been, just to be honest, I've been kicked in the nuts with the Google penalty before. And dude, you don't come back from those.
You don't.
I mean, you really don't.
You do
not. I tried so hard, and if someone called me and said I got penalized by Google, I'd say start a new domain.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's like a criminal record that you carry around on Google.
Yeah, and they change the algorithms and stuff regularly, and you got to really stay up on that. But let's say we're getting a lot of orders and stuff. We're packaging them up. UPS now comes to pick them up. We can't control it once it leaves our office. So you're entrusting UPS to be a really good partner, which they've been awesome for us. But that's another thing you have to think about. At some point, your product leaves your hands and goes into the hands of someone to take it that final mile or so. And
those questions are tough to answer because someone's calling and going, "Where's my package?" You're like,
right.
I'm here at ProAthlete.
Right.
I don't work for UPS.
Right.
Or Amazon.
I think one thing that we have done is we try to take ownership of that.
Yeah. So you guys actually fulfill your Amazon orders from your place.
Yep.
Not necessarily, you don't keep them at, what is it, FBA?
FBA, yep. Yeah. So we've tried a little bit of everything, and that's kind of where we landed. But yeah, I mean, we're just a retailer, so we'll get people calling and saying, "Hey, this bat broke." It's like, well, there's a 1-year manufacturer's warranty on it, and they don't want to hear you telling them to go to the manufacturer to replace it because they bought it from you.
Yep.
Rightfully so. So we try to take measures and stuff to always say, if you got it from us, we're going to take care of you. Yeah. And I think not having scripts and stuff for our, we call them customer coaches, the support team, that's been a real differentiator for us. Because, I used to answer the phones for a while, and every situation was different. And no script was going to tell me how to handle this person's situation, So
that's one of the things that gets hard if you get big box is like if you happen to call a place like Amazon, there's no way that whoever you're talking to knows anything about what you bought.
Right.
Because think about how many products you'd have to know about.
Right.
I mean, it's just insane. So, I mean, I think that's where, and like I said, I think the future of e-commerce, and quite honestly of most retail, is in that niche specialty or like things that are local.
Sure.
So like looking back at when we started our ticket business, I worked in musical instrument retail basically, and I worked for a manufacturer at some point. And I saw that coming. So I worked for Roland, and they make all kinds of, musical equipment.
Yeah.
Well, the problem was those stores were getting crushed because 10, 15 years ago, people started buying stuff online. So then it was Guitar Center. So Guitar Center was kind of defeating everyone because they had their catalogs and all this stuff online. And, you buy a guitar pedal, dude, it comes in a small box. It's very shippable. So when we started the ticket company, and it started gaining traction, people kept asking, they're like, well, are you going to open a retail store? No. Why? Because in 5, 10, however many years, you're never going to need, why would you need to come by that store? And as I talked to, as we kind of evolved, the people my peers, the other business owners in town that had retail stores would just literally tell me, they're like, dude, I wish I was you.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of stuck here.
Right.
I've got this building and I've got enough people that kind of want to come by, and then at the same time, dude, it's not a necessary expense.
Yeah.
So where did you guys, as far as e-commerce, where do you guys draw the line about where some of that decision-making process occurred over the years? You could send all your stuff to Amazon.
Yeah,
and let them fulfill it, and then they want more money.
Right. Yeah, we used to let Kansas City customers come up and get their products from us. And then we, realized really quick we can get it to you tomorrow for free.
Yeah.
So, and it didn't really work with the flow. We had to go to the back, pull a bat out of inventory, adjust it. It just wasn't a good experience.
Yeah.
So we kind of said, hey, we're not really going to do in-store stuff anymore. And now you're seeing this like experiential retail thing kind of come back. We're seeing like the guys at Swell Spark doing those kind of cool experiences with axe throwing and things like that.
They're coming in to talk.
Oh, are they? Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, Matt's awesome.
I think Matt's awesome too. Wait, are we talking about me?
Oh, all the Matts. There's a lot of
That's
them. But yeah, they're doing some really cool things where now they're trying to provide a cool experience for the retail space
and,
as well.
And that's my point. Is like you have to have either have something that doesn't ship well.
Right.
Like if you want to buy a massage chair.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not buying that on Amazon, man.
Yeah,
like,
that's
I want
tough.
to sit in it.
Right.
I mean, don't you?
Right.
So there's certain things like that are still going to win. And my point with like the ticket stuff was I knew it was all going digital. Like it's all shippable.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm actually not doing you any service by making you. It's a worse experience if I make you have to come down here.
Well, to your point there, so we find that bats are easier to sell online than our gloves because gloves you want to put your hand in. And
I hear you
that's
on that.
always been a challenge, So I think a lot more people come to our site for the information about gloves and then might go to Dick's. So that's one of our big challenges. How do we get people to feel more comfortable buying a glove online? The bat is not really a problem.
Yeah.
And so
in many ways I can compare that to the music equipment we sold. Like it's a very you want it.
Right.
And you're gonna get a similar, like a very repeatable product. Gloves, I mean, in theory, they're supposed to all be this like, but they kind of might not be. Like it's a thing. You're gonna wear it on your hand a lot. It has a lot to do with like, I'm a big guy, and like if the glove didn't fit, well, what did Johnny Cochran say? If the glove doesn't fit, you must have quit. Like, or you must quit.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a real thing, and there are some things. So that and that's where certain types of retail may survive, and also that experiential is a great term for that. If you can give someone a different experience or wisdom,
right?
And that's what you guys are offering, and we talked about that some, is like just improving content. You guys actually have a lot of content, don't you?
We do.
You create, like, get former players or coaches to like talk. Are they talking about the products, or are they talking about other stuff?
Usually it's kind of a play on the culture and stuff, so you're buying from a cool company. Like as I was coming in here today, we released a video, re-released it from like 2017 where we had George Brett, and I think it's Pine Tar Day or something, and he's got like pine tar all over his gloves, but he's out in our warehouse like shipping and everything's sticking to his hands.
Nice.
And it's just like a little thing you send out to remind people that like, hey, we kind of know all these people, and we're kind of a cool company, we hope.
Yeah.
And yeah, but we produce, we have a ton of reviews. That's kind of one of the big things. We've sold so many bats and gloves that we got a ton of customer reviews. We produce a ton of a video with every product.
Yeah.
And then we have basically a full like media team in house with our own studio and everything like that, where we're able to shoot, basically whatever we want. But we will get some players. Like I know we've had like Albert Pujols and a number of different people who swing Marucci, which is a big bat brand. Say, hey, get your stuff at JustBats. And things like that are pretty cool for customers to see, like, oh, wow, so, they endorse JustBats.
I think on some level, a lot of people actually really want to support businesses like yours rather than just, like, and I do think about that when I buy stuff. I'm like, because I don't want Amazon to own the world. At the same time, I appreciate the options for a lot of stuff. Like sometimes it's just way easier for me to wait 2 days and get like a bolt.
Yeah.
Or something dumb like that I don't want to go down to Lowe's for. But on certain things too, you like want some input, some advice, and some help.
For sure.
Okay, so can you share an interesting story with us about something that you guys clearly overlooked at some point? Like give me a good like funny failure story where I always, when I help people model their business or write a business plan, I literally put a line item that says, oh shit.
Yeah.
And people are like, what's this? This is a lot. I'm like, that's your oh shit budget. And they're like, what is that? And I'm like, that means, oh shit, I didn't think about that or prepare for that.
Yeah.
But it's a real thing. And I think too many people that are preparing for businesses don't ever put that line on there.
Sure.
Not a good idea. There's always something So do you have something in mind?
Yeah. So let me think here. I think, we get a lot of funny stories and things when we talk about like the returns process, because we're we allow basically anything to be sent back, because that's kind of how we can bridge that gap between buying in store and buying online. And we've seen a little bit of everything, but we'll talk about those a little bit later. But I think the one thing that we thought would be really cool and didn't end up resonating was this bat trade-in concept.
Oh, like trade in your old bat?
Yeah,
Okay.
and we were like, because the idea was, hey, let's just keep them coming back, every year. And we didn't really anticipate how awkward it is to like ship a bat back for people.
It's a good point.
So like,
it's not really like something most people have a box for.
That's exactly right. So they're like, we would say, keep your box. Who wants to keep a box for a year? Because
Right.
they buy
Or
every
longer.
year. Yeah.
I don't keep boxes for anything.
I don't
man.
either.
Like because when in doubt, throw it out.
Yep, for sure. And so we were like, man, this is such a cool thing. Why are people not doing it? So many people would take the first steps to like start filling out the trade-in form or whatever, and then none of them would ever send them back. And we kind of researched and asked some questions, and they're like, it wasn't worth it, I have to go get a box, and we would send a free shipping label and stuff like that. But we thought that was going to be a pretty big thing, and it really didn't ever turn.
You almost
into anything.
need to ship them the box and then have them ship it back, and that's like a different.
Yep.
I mean, have you ever returned something where they literally shipped you the box?
Yeah.
Because I have. I mean, just like weird stuff, but that's the reason.
Yeah. Man, Amazon's doing some crazy stuff now where you don't even have to have a box or anything, and they're actually pushing it. They highlight these options on returns over like packaging it yourself. You can take it to like a Kohl's and drop it off with no package and no label, or you can take it to like a UPS store, and you literally walk in, scan a barcode on your phone, and hand them, say you wanted to return a shirt. It takes 10 seconds.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy, some of the stuff they're doing.
I mean, that makes sense on some level, because when you're buying things online, the whole idea of what if I got the wrong thing?
Yeah.
I mean, it's real. So anytime you're trying to sell something, you're likely, whether you know it or not, you are overcoming the buyer's objections.
Right.
And they exist. They exist for all of us that are buying things. My objection, can I afford it? Is this the right price? Is this the right product? Is it the right fit? Is it the right size? Blah, 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 blah. Whatever it is, it's keeping you from having already bought it, are your objections. But returns are a big thing. So when we go back to the whole subject of e-commerce and like where you're at with it, you got to be ready to deal with that.
You do.
And some people are going to return some stuff too, and you're going to be like,
Yeah.
So then you got to pick and choose battles.
Right.
Because, I mean,
it's like that.
I can only imagine over the years some of the things that people have returned.
Oh my gosh, I remember we have a returns wall of fame, basically.
Yes.
I have two really favorite stories. One, there's a glove that we have a 100-day love your glove guarantee. So you can do whatever you want to your glove for 100 days. You can drive over it with a car, do whatever you want. So
You kind of have to break some of them in anyway.
you do.
Yeah.
And so this awesome customer decided to put it in the microwave, and valid option there, I guess. Well,
But
they
is
sent
it?
it back,
But is it?
and it didn't turn out to be, but came back and it was just all melted. So you saw all the like spots where it had caught fire. And of course we took it back and had a good laugh with the customer and sent him a new one. But there was that one.
So
and
do you
then,
guys eat the cost on that, or do you get some deals with manufacturers?
yeah, it kind of varies.
Yeah.
So, and we're looking at, some ways to maybe repurpose some of the bats or gloves, maybe using the glove leather for other type of goods or something like that. So we're kind of brainstorming that all the time. But my favorite story is this dad bought a bat for his kid. It was like a yellow barreled bat. This was, 6-7 years ago. And the kid was upset because he wanted a bat that had like a wood grain look. There was this bat that had come out that was metal, but it had a wood grain look. So they were everyone at that time wanted kids to feel like they were swinging wood bats, but still have the power of like a metal or composite bat. And so the dad, trying to be good dad, took a black marker and tried to like mark on like a wood grain pattern of this yellow bat. He showed the kid like, hey, this is awesome. And the kid's just like, this is horrible. You ruined my life. Like that whole deal. He wrote a handwritten note to us and said, I really messed up.
The dad did?
The dad did. And it was so awesome. We sent him a brand new bat and said, thank you so much for the story. We're going to use this.
In that case, like I'd be happy to do the return.
It was awesome.
All right, so we're sharing like weird returns.
Yeah.
So we had, back in the ticket company, we had a guy, all right, so people will call us a lot, and like that business, we did a lot. We were basically did a lot of deals with teams and venues.
Okay.
To just try to help them sell VIP stuff. I mean, there's tickets to anything and everything that aren't on your online map. And then 10 years ago, they really weren't sophisticated in that regard. So venues have manifested inventory and they have unmanifested inventory. Unmanifested inventory are the things that you don't see on the CD map. And in any contract writer or deal, like the venue will say, we reserve the right to sell X amount of unmanifested inventory, which means we're keeping all the money. This is our stuff. It's usually the VIP. So sometimes we would have, you get these people that realize that's how they get in the VIP. That's how they get whatever, excuse me. So we had a guy call and, he wanted, it was a country show. I can't remember what it was, but, and he wanted VIP tickets, and he literally requested a specific section, everything. We're like, yes, we happen to have those, whatever. Send him the tickets. The next day he called irate, demanding a refund because he had to actually stand up at a concert.
Yeah.
He was upset that he wasn't able to sit down the whole entire time.
Oh, wow.
And wanted his money back. And we were like, dude, really? Like, I mean, you went to a show that had 18,000 people at it, and you were expecting to sit down the whole. And here's the thing: it's not like he bought a front row ticket. It was like that kind of like upper section of the pavilion.
Sure.
Like, I mean, you're clearly gonna have people in front of you, dude.
Right.
So,
Wow.
but you talk about the returns, and you're just like, my God, like. And then you also get things that are out of your control. So sometimes, like people will call and they would say, I got to the venue and there wasn't a seat there. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, they literally, like that happened. And, someone's wanting their money back. You're like, do you have a picture? Do you have anything? They're like, no, we got there and there was no seat. And you're like, I'm having a hard time buying that. Or just different things like, sometimes too, people, they don't estimate how long it'll take to get in.
Yeah.
So they're like, yeah, we had to wait in line for an hour. And I'm like, what does that have to do with me?
Right.
Or us? And like, why is that my fault? And,
Right.
So you get weird stuff.
Yeah,
and,
for
you
sure.
just talk about the returns, but really in the end, you're going to draw more flies with honey.
Sure.
And, we had a couple people there was one time it kind of, that parent. They're like, hey, I really messed this up. And, and we didn't give them a refund, but we were able to do some different stuff. Because people would sometimes buy these VIP tickets, which just meant a section in the venue. And they thought they'd you're going to meet Taylor Swift or something.
They're going to let you sing a song with them.
Yeah, you're going to go, you get to perform.
Yeah.
You get to perform with the band people.
Yeah.
So, yeah, some interesting things there. Okay, so I want to kind of as we go through this, so some of the things we talked about is if you're going to start an e-commerce business or you're going to evolve your business, you can partner with and compete with Amazon at the same time.
Sure.
Which is, you got to know that.
Yeah.
If you 100% have to know and realize that coming in, and you said it earlier, because if you're not on Amazon, you lose a lot of eyeballs.
You do.
And some of it too is people might even just go there, and that might be the first part of their discovery.
Absolutely.
They might find you on Amazon and then end up coming to wherever you're going and buying. But if you're not there, forget about it.
Think of it like, Google. A lot of people are starting their searches on Amazon now and not on Google or someplace
Amazon
like that.
is actually, so I consider Amazon to be a search engine.
Yeah,
That's all it
absolutely.
is.
Yeah.
And it's actually a better search engine when it comes to selling stuff because people are actually there with the intent to buy.
Mm-hmm.
On Google, people are kicking tires a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. Like your click-through rate compared to selling from some stuff on Google, it can be significantly lower. Do you agree?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So Amazon is one of the most, it's up there. It's like a top 3 search engine kind of thing.
Definitely. Yeah. Google, YouTube, Amazon, those are all places, if you're looking for information or products, you probably go. And, Google's even started trying to combat Amazon and Walmart as well. They've got marketplaces that they're really trying to, make somewhat close to Amazon.
It's Clash of the Titans
It
on
is.
that, man.
Yeah.
And so and that brings up a great point. So if you are an old school Startup Hustle listener and you get back to like episode 12, I think it is, Laryl Holt, who is the founder of CarStar.
Oh, cool.
Okay, and Laryl, we refer to Laryl as Yoda, because the guy is just like, it's like a trip to the Oracle or something.
Wow.
You leave and you're like, well, there really is no spoon, but talking to him, and he'll say, don't be afraid to be a coward. And at first that does not sound glorious.
No.
Okay, but with that, if you continue talking to him, he'll say, you don't try to be brave where you don't need to be. Being a coward means going and doing something that no one else is doing in a place where they'll all leave you alone to get really good at it. So being overly brave is trying to take on Google, Amazon, some of these other things, because look, good luck.
Right.
They're going to crush you underfoot. They don't even know you exist.
Right.
They're in the business. They are like literally steamrolling you. And they don't even, you're okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
You were just, and that's the thing, is so you can't compete in some regard. So you have to figure out how to work within that context. And if you can't, and you can't figure out how to make your future business model or the products you're selling work in that regard, you're in trouble.
Yep.
Like, you have to give some credence to that. And if you're an existing e-commerce business that is not beginning to change and plan your evolution accordingly, well, the writing might be on the wall.
Sure.
And that's some things that, like, you guys have made some changes in the regard, and you're just, I think that, and I think, I think we can talk about this some, is like, you guys are also like, just, theoretically saying, what else can we do as well to capitalize on the goodwill, the customer base, the facilities, the work culture. You guys really do have an amazing workplace. It's like it's award winning.
Yeah.
It really has. No, you've really like won multiple awards for the best workplace. And so, if with your e-commerce business, if you're trying to take your business and evolve it or change it or whatever, you might have a whole lot of assets and things that you can lean on. And that's something you guys have explored some, isn't it?
We have, yeah. And I think, we kind of call it, we've got a good foundation, is what we kind of keep saying. And people
have all the pieces. Like, it's like having a set of Legos, but you're not necessarily, you're like, okay, we've got all these Legos. What can we build?
Right. Yeah.
What can we build with it? We know we could do some of these things, and what are our strengths?
Right.
So, like, you guys, for example, and like, I assume that you have a significant client list.
Yeah, it's pretty big. Yeah.
And so that right there, like, you think about what you could do with that.
Right.
So, like, you could partner with other people. You can do other things, and that's another thing too with your business evolving. Like, dude, it's not 1999. And I saw this happen in the music industry. It was so heartbreaking, because you talk to these people and they're like the nicest people in the world, and all they're doing is sitting there saying, well, if things were just like they used to be.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't make promises except for one. Things will always change.
Yeah. Yeah. It's changed so much in just my 10 years. So
Sure.
I came on in 2009, and it's way different. I can't imagine being there in 99 and seeing it, or in 87, and I think that decision in 99 to go from brick and mortar to online, we're approaching those times with what Amazon's done to, needing another decision of that magnitude at some point, where a lot of this is going to change. I remember, like, however many years ago, I was learning about social media advertising, like Facebook ads. We've had our head down in the sand just doing Google ads for so long. It's like, whoa, what's this new thing? And we were behind.
What's the Facebook?
Yeah, it's like, what is this thing? And so we've adapted since.
And that's changed a lot too, because like, it's different now. You look at things like Instagram and like, and I try to keep up. I'm like an old man.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
What is this Snapchat?
Right. Yeah, it's tough to adapt to all those things. But yeah, we have looked at other ways to leverage the foundation that we've got in place. And, we don't have any answers really as of today where we're going to go. But I think on your point about, all that infrastructure being in place, it's a lot easier to plug something into that machine than to start it from scratch.
Right.
We kind of de-risk a little bit. We've got an ERP system, and I remember how awful it was to plug that thing in. And that really helped us manage our inventory and finances and stuff all together, because it was kind of in different systems before that ERP. I cannot imagine trying to, start a business and then somehow eventually try to integrate that in again. we now would just add it on as a new brand, plug it in. We've already got, finances. We've already got, accounting. We've got shipping, whatever those things are, we've already got in place.
You talk about all that stuff, and that's not easy to build.
It's not. And
it takes a long time. And that's one of the things, so with Full Scale, the business Watson and I own together, we balloon up to 180 employees in a year. I know, but it's awesome. But at the same time, we've literally I'd like to say tap the brakes. It pulled the e-brake.
Right.
We did that a year ago. At one point, we were like, whoa, let's stop. We need to really wrap our arms around some things, or we're going to end up with a 400-person company that's going to turn into Lord of the Flies.
Yep.
And that can happen. That's a real thing. And you talk about loss prevention and just different things. And I've seen too many things that had a lot of hope and promise implode because they weren't thinking about that infrastructure.
It happened to us. I mean, in 2012, there was a rule change in baseball where basically every kid in America needed a new bat because they changed some regulations. It was great for us, but it also caused a lot of issues. So back in that time, we just threw bodies at it, and we had 118 employees in 2012. And I just remember walking around thinking, what is everybody doing? It seems like we've got a lot of extra people and we started digging in, and basically, long story short, over the course of the next year and a half, we whittled it down to about 60 because it was just bad management on our behalf, trying to throw people at a rule change problem that only was going to last a little over a year. Yeah. And you blink and you're, got all these people that aren't really busy.
So did that spike sales, but then that wasn't sustainable?
Right, it did. So it was a 1 year kind of.
That's another thing too it's tough to plan for because first off, you can't control that change.
We couldn't.
And then so you got to deal with it, but at the same time, those spikes are weird, and that's been a challenge for us at Full Scale as well. Is because let's be realistic, not all clients and customers are great.
Sure.
Some of them you don't, you got to be careful in some regards. But also, so workplace culture is something that we're big on. And we went in, so here we are trying to establish that from 8,000 miles away.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh.
In a foreign country, in a city and in a country where, realistically, that hasn't been the focal point of the workplace dynamic over the last 30 years. And we intentionally said, look, you know what, we're going to raise the bar. We're going to make what we do, we're going to make our place a marquee place to work. We want the word around town to be man, I really want to get my shit together so I can go work at Full Scale.
That's awesome.
But you guys are the same way though.
Yeah.
And so you guys, you guys have a full basketball court. I can go swimming.
You can go swimming, yeah.
I can rock a batting cage. You guys literally have a bar.
Yeah.
If I walked into a bar or a bar and restaurant, like a bar and grill, and I walked into your place, I'd be like, dude, this place is cool.
Yeah.
It's you're ready. It really is.
Yeah.
And I was shocked with that, by the way. I was just like, whoa. And then you guys also have some cool stuff. I have a picture of myself wearing a Rawlings Gold glove.
Oh yeah. That was cool. Yeah.
I sent that all to all the guys that I played baseball with. And
That's
I was
great.
Because I am not a Gold Glove fielder.
Yeah, no. So just to have a good relationship with Rawlings, we sell their products, and they sent us a replica. And I always tell people when we're giving the tour, just like I told you, you think it's this big heavy metal thing, and it's actually just a actual glove that you can put on your hand, and it's
gold. It's legit, and it's cool. And so here's the thing: is if you're into baseball, and so many people are, it's a cool place to work.
Yeah.
Because you're around the things that you like. That's why I stuck in the music industry for so long, because I'm passionate about music. I am a shitty musician. Yeah. I am not a good musician. I have a book coming out. By the time this comes out, it'll actually be out, so go buy it on Amazon. But it's about the music industry. I'm just passionate about it, and it makes it easy to be around things if you're and so you need your employees, especially your core people, and employees come and go.
They do.
Some do, but you have to have a core unit, and that culture. If it sucks to work at your business, you're gonna just shut it down.
Yep.
Because it's going to come back and come back at you in ways that you don't even get or understand until you start counting later as well. Because like employees get spiteful.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
You know what? One thing we forgot to do.
Oh,
I'm going to invent. We were going to play Mixtape. I'm going to invent a Mixtape code.
Okay.
So if you go to mixtapethegame.com. So normally and you're not supposed to play this with two people because we'll have a stalemate with the vote, but we'll just go with our votes. And so I would normally name a scenario, like it would be like the song that plays while you ride a unicorn over a rainbow. And then we pick a song and we'd vote. However, I think that what we need to do is we need to instead say what our walk-up song would be.
Oh yeah, so we get to do that every year. We have a company baseball game here in town.
I have a whole bunch that are inappropriate.
Yeah.
And then I go out of the box because I think if you're going to have a walk-up song, it needs to either be something that's like super hilarious, like the dude that uses Baby Shark.
Yeah.
It's hilarious, and also that's cruel because that thing gets stuck in your head.
That was mine last year for my daughter. Yeah, that was what I played last year in our company game. So
I'm going with the theme song to Three's Company.
Oh, that's good. I like that. Yeah.
Just come and knock on our door. We'll be waiting for you. And like obviously that is like probably a terrible walk-up song, but at the same time, I feel like people would talk about it.
Oh yeah, I mean,
they'd be like, "Wait a minute, what?"
Yeah,
DeCoursey's walk-up. What is that? I've heard that before.
The first game we ever did, my walk-up song was "Danger Zone" from the Top Gun, and now it seems good because that trailer's out. But I really like that one for my first year.
Is that what you're going with?
I don't know. Yeah, let's go with that.
Going with Danger Zone.
Let's go with Danger Zone.
So if you want to vote on who's the winner of this version of Mixtape, make some comments on Instagram. Are you guys on Instagram? You have to be.
Yeah.
JustBats or something different?
JustBats and ProAthlete, both of them. So
go to both.
Yeah, go to both. Check it out. Check out our website, ProAthleteInc.com, if you want to learn a little bit about what it's like to work at ProAthlete. We have and
we'll put some links to that. And for those of you listening, this is on YouTube as well, so there'll be extra links to that. And we'll put links to all your stuff.
Nice.
So that'll be like 25 lines.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we have a fan club page where people sign up to kind of stay connected with us. And mostly people sign up because they want to know when the next job opening's coming. And so we have, a pretty big list of people kind of waiting for the next potential opening at our company. So feel free to sign up there. It's our website, ProAthletic.com, and then the fan club page.
Yeah, I love what you guys do. I want to thank you for coming in. Your office is not that close to here.
Yeah, that's true.
I do appreciate you coming in. I mean, it's not often that we get people in here that have that history, and you guys doing something different and manage to survive.
Yeah.
And do a whole lot of stuff. And any tips you want to give anyone on the way out? Other than to keep on keeping on?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the easy one, but I think be ready to pivot and adapt if you're going to go. I mean, it probably works for any business, but I know from experience in the e-commerce space, every day it seems like something's changing. And don't be afraid
to have a level of agility.
Yeah, embrace it.
Flexibility and agility. Yeah.
And like you talked about, well, that's the way we've always done it. That sends so many companies out of business, that mindset. And just you can't have people that think that way. You got to be able to adapt and embrace the new stuff, or you're going to be a dinosaur. So.
You guys heard it first from Andrew Dowis, CEO of ProAthlete. Go to JustBats.com. Go to ProAthleteInc.com. Find them on Instagram, some other places. Go check it out. I'm going to post a lot of pictures actually on Instagram just so I can show your guys' workplace because I took about 10,000 pictures.
Yes,
that day.
You did. That was fun.
I was like, man. And it's funny. I came back here just because I like to freak people out. I was like, I'm going to need a huge budget for our new office.
Exactly.
And they're looking at me like, really? I'm like, well, maybe.
Did you hit in the cage? I can't remember.
No.
Maybe next time.
No. I did, and we've shared the experience. We did get to go do batting practice on the field at Royal Stadium.
That's
and
awesome.
You've done that, haven't
you?
Yeah.
It's
like really, like actually. And by the way, it's funny because you talk about just bats. You realize how little pop you have in your own bat.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I thought I crushed one, and it was just like, at best a lazy fly ball to shallow like left field.
Yeah.
I was like, boom! Oh my God! Like, how do you guys do this?
Yeah, I noticed how weakly I hit balls. Like, you think you hit a nice line drive in the gap, and it like stops rolling before it even gets like
to
to the left.
grass
It's like,
or
what?
something. You're like, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's definitely the struggle's real.
Yeah, it
for
is.
guys like me. I don't know if I ever had that kind of power. And then you go watch, we go down and have batting practice field passes, and you watch Jorge Soler and Alex Gordon just like painting the base of the center field scoreboard.
Yeah.
Like it's not even a problem. I'm like, dude, really?
It's unbelievable.
I'm not that much older than you, Alex Gordon. All right, guys. We'll see you next time.